This is Frank Rock. This is the House of Orange Sports Channel coming at you. Thank you for tuning in with me. This is your Tennessee versus High Point post game recap. I'm going to jump right into this thing. I'm not going to sit here and ramble, beat around the bush with it. Tennessee comes out tonight with a 7-4 victory over High Point. I don't think it's a game that they'll look back on and think they played their best by any means. But, sometimes a win is a win. You get the job done. You look around the country in college baseball, just this past weekend, even some tonight with ranked teams playing these unranked teams or these teams maybe closer in proximity or, state to state away. And, there's numerous ranked teams that have lost tonight. I saw where East Carolina had lost, Indiana has lost, UC Santa Barbara lost tonight. Just to say a few, I know Clemson was in they were in a battle with USC Upstate and they pulled away to win 12-6, but that game was neck and neck for a long time as well. So you can't take any of these games for granted. And that's what I love about college baseball. You just never know. I mean, you look over the weekend, Stony Brook beat LSU. This same High Point team beat Ole Miss on Friday night. Mississippi State got beat. I mean, just lots of good baseball played around the country. And it's one of those things you can't take any of it for granted. This High Point team, it didn't look too bad tonight, honestly. Now, granted, you didn't face Tennessee's best pitchers, but I don't know. You saw Snead at the end. I'm pretty high on Nate Snead. And, if you saw tonight, it's just because of his arsenal that he has. But I'm going to jump right into it. I want to get to the lineup, and I want to talk about that middle of the order, which I really, really like right now. But Tennessee's lineup tonight, Christian Moore 0 for 4. One strikeout tonight. Not a good night for him. His worst night at the plate so far this season. Blake Burke 0 for 3. One walk, one strikeout. He did score a run on that one run. He scored on Robin Villeneuve's double in the first inning. Billy Amick 2 for 4. 2 runs, 1 RBI, 1 home run late that added on an insurance run they needed. Kavaris Tears, he stays on a tear. 3 for 3. 3 runs scored, 1 RBI, 1 double, 1 home run, 1 walk. Really good night for him at the plate. And, man, he was close in that ninth inning to gunning that guy at third, which I think would have – I can't remember if that would have been the second or third out, but I thought that he had that guy gunned at third. It was really close. But, that third baseman didn't seem to argue it, so I would say that, the umpire made the right call on that. Robin Villeneuve up in that fifth spot. That was what I talked about in my preview video that's where I sit, and I talked about it Sunday too. This is the lineup I see going forward if Villeneuve going to that 5. I don't think you can keep him out of that the way he's swinging it. And again tonight, 2 for 4, 1 run, 3 RBIs. He had a double, a ground out, and a fly out. His average on the year right now for Villeneuve, 562. Kavaris Tears, 462. These two guys are getting it. I mean, Christian Moore, even with his 0 for 4 night tonight, is still at 406. So, I mean, you got guys getting it done. Amick, back over 300, well-deserved. I mean, he has hit the ball hard this year and gotten some tough breaks along the way. But, getting back to the lineup, Dylan Dreiling 0 for 4 tonight. 2 strikeouts, 1 looking, a ground out and a fly out. Not a good night for him, and not, when you're starting to get this competition going, Dreiling was off on Sunday. They gave him the day off. That's the only game he's had. I got to wonder, what point do you start looking for, there's some guys that's got to be in this lineup at points. And you factor in that Cal Stark is going to get his starts behind the plate as well, which would probably then put Cannon Peebles in the DH role. That means you can't set Robin Villeneuve. You can't set Kavaris Tears right now. Frankly, the way Dalton Vargo's swinging, I don't know that you'll have him out much longer either. If that's the case, if I'm Dylan Dreiling, and I'll get to the other one here in a minute, probably need to be bringing it. Speaking of Cannon Peebles, good night for him tonight. 2 for 3, 2 RBIs, had a double. He had a walk. He did have 1 strikeout. Hunter Ensley, this is the other one we'll come to. 0 for 3 tonight, 1 strikeout, 2 flyouts. His average for the year down to 207. Hunter Ensley's getting really close, I think, to watching from the bench. I think he's getting real close to that. I mean, he was already off a couple games over the weekend. I think Tony Vitello's put it to him, you need to step it up. And he gave him another chance tonight with Villeneuve. I don't see how you're sitting him right now. You're not sitting Kavaris Tears. I mean, Dreiling, I still go with Dreiling over him. And again, Dalton Bargo, the way he's swinging it, I don't see how you set Dalton Bargo out either. Um, Hunter Inslee is playing for he's playing for his job right now. I would fully expect this weekend he will at least be on the bench Friday night. We'll see where it goes moving forward. He may be coming off the bench all weekend, possibly. He's just not gotten the job done. He just hasn't. And, I hate it for the guy. It stinks, but what it is, what it is. When you got other guys hitting, you either step it up or hit with them or you get left behind. Right now, Hunter Inslee's getting left behind. Now, that's not to say he doesn't turn it on and become a factor later on in the year because he still has that capability. I think he had the second highest batting average in conference last year in the SEC. So, I mean, this is a guy that's hit good pitching before. Maybe when he gets SEC play, he does that again. And then rounding out the lineup tonight, talked about Inslee 0 for 3. Bargo did come in and hit. He flew out, went 0 for 1. And then Alex Perry, JUCO guy they signed, he got a shot tonight with Curley out. I'm sure it was probably precautionary measures after getting hit in the head. 0 for 3 with a strikeout and 2 flies. These two JUCO guys, Perry, Lowry, when they've got their chances, man, they're just not doing anything with it. And a guy like Curley got his opportunity. Curley's not looking back. The only thing that may stop him is injury. And then, if you're Ariel Antigua, whenever you're back, I don't see how you're going to pull Dean Curley out. I like Dean Curley. I like what he brings to the plate. He's got that shortstop build. He plays good shortstop. Let's hope that it was all precautionary and he's back in the lineup this weekend. But this lineup, one of my bullet points I had was 3 through 5. Billy Amick, Kavaris Tears, Robin Villeneuve, if that's your 3 through 5, that is a stout 3 through 5. Christian Moore leading off. Burke's been doing some pretty good things, having some good swings and stuff. He just missed a home run tonight. It blew foul. That's a pretty good, that's a really good top 5. I'm curious to see where they go with Burke up there. I still think he's kind of a wild card in that 2 spot. If he's on, yeah, that's a good place for him because you've got Moore in front of him. You got Amick behind him. You got Tears. You got Villeneuve. They can't throw around him like they could last year. I don't think teams are going to test him a whole lot, but teams have tested him with fastballs this year, and he's not made them pay yet. I'm hoping to see him get dialed in where some of those inner fastballs. I said one of my bold predictions for the year, he's going to hit one 500 feet. I'm still going to stick with it at some point. He's only hit one home run, and it was opposite field. Somebody's going to get cute with him at one point and throw one low and inside, and he's going to absolutely murder it. You wait and see it's going to happen. Does it go 500? I don't know. That may be a bit ambitious with that, but I'm still going to call it. He's going to absolutely crush one at some point. So there's your lineup tonight. I love what this lineup's doing and the possibilities with it. And honestly, if you're getting that chance right now, and you're a guy that's not in every day, you better make the most of it because other guys are making the most of it. And again, the way I talk about Cal Stark's he's going to start about every other game pretty much, or at least 1 out of 3, if not, it's been so far pretty much every other game. With that being said, if Peebles is swinging, he's going to DH. That leaves 1 spot in the outfield, and that's probably going to be Bargo or Dreiling right now. So, a lot of good problems to have. The lineup is definitely taking shape. Now, my 4th bullet point I had was walk this way. So we've not seen this as a big issue, but tonight Tennessee had an issue with the walks. I wonder how much the weather played into it. They had tonight 9 walks. Matthew Dallas was a bit wild tonight. 61 pitches, 5 walks, 3 strikeouts, 2 2/3. He got out of that with no runs. He left with the bases loaded. Austin Hundley come in, and God, this killed me. It's killed me. The guy. This is why I hate it at a younger age when you just, if a runner's on third and a guy gets on first, that I'll just play back, let him have it. No, you don't do it. This guy on first got cute tonight, and Cannon Peebles, I loved it. He threw down and picked him off in that 3rd inning. Ended the inning, left the bases loaded, and that is absolutely something as a team you cannot have happen. The guy on first doesn't need to be cute. You can't move up. So why are you getting that big lead? you just knocked your team out of an inning, a potential inning. And High Point was hitting tonight. They hit pretty good off of this pitching staff. So, nice job for that tonight. That was a pick off by Cannon Peebles. Kirby Cannell got a pick later on. To say that, again, I've seen people say, well, Frank Anderson, they don't worry about the runner. Why are they picking them off then? If they're not worried about the run, they're just going to sit back and let them go. That could not be further from the truth. I've been a little more animated by language on that before, and I will stick to that, but I don't need to go that route tonight. Yeah, they're paying attention to the runners out there. Loved it from Cannon Peebles. That was good for him, that he has that awareness. But, dude, that takes some guts, because if you hop that one into right field or something, you are possibly giving up 2 runs. On the money, Blake Burke, good catch and tag on it, ended a threat, ended that inning on it, got Dallas out of that with no earned runs. And then Austin Hundley, he went 2/3 of an inning tonight. He gave up 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 3 hits, no walks, no strikeouts. Didn't have his best stuff tonight. And then Chris Stamos come in later on. He had to come in for Hundley, actually. Come in through an inning, 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. I was kind of under the impression he left the game with maybe an injury or something. So I think that's something to keep in mind. I'll be curious to see what Tony Vitello says in post-game. Andrew Banky come in 2/3 of an inning. He had 2 walks and a strikeout, no runs. Kirby Cannell tonight, 1 2/3, 1 run. He did some pretty good things. Now, later on, they got a couple hits off of him and got a run out of it. But he had 2 strikeouts. He had the pickoff, which was good. He come in fired up. And then Nate Snead come in, closed it out, 2 1/3. He did give up 1 run, 2 hits, 1 walk, but he had 5 strikeouts, and he was hitting 100 tonight. I said before the season, this was my guy on that staff. Him throwing in that 99 to 101 range. He hit it tonight. He was getting fired up late. He ended the game with 2 strikeouts. And looking at his numbers on there, his ERA is about 2.7. He's got 2 wins, 10 innings pitched. I was kind of surprised to see him throw tonight after Sunday, but they brought him back because he didn't throw a lot of pitches on Sunday. So, how do they go moving forward? I've said it from the beginning. This is a guy I've kind of got pegged in that Chase Burns role from last year that could come in and put the fire out. Now, do they go Aaron Combs? Do they go Snead in that role? Could they possibly go with Stamos depending on matchups at some point? And I'm still curious to see Wyatt Evans. From what I understand, Wyatt Evans got in the doghouse. Maybe I'm full of it on Wyatt Evans that he doesn't even play a factor. But this was a guy that was pretty good. He pitched his freshman year, was out injured his sophomore, or what would be now he's a redshirt freshman. And supposedly wasn't, maybe still not in good graces with Tony Vitello. But I think he's a guy that if he gets things going, can be an asset out of that bullpen, just based on what I saw out of him as a freshman. And just the tools. He's a big guy at like 6'6", 240. Or no, I'm sorry, 6'6", 260. That's a big dude. That's a lefty, 2 out of the pen. Could be a weapon for them out of that pen if he gets things going for them, obviously. But, like I said, a win's a win. You take it and you move forward. And speaking of moving forward, this weekend, Bowling Green in Knoxville, I think they're back to normal times around 7 o'clock for each of the games, 6:30, 7 o'clock for the weekend, and Sunday will be an afternoon game as well. But I expect it'll be interesting to see what's up with A.J. Russell. Does he throw Friday, or is something going on he doesn't throw? You'll see Beam on Saturday and then probably Seacrest again on Sunday. And then they move in 2 midweek games next week, Illinois the following weekend, midweek again before that, and then they move into SEC play at Alabama the weekend of St. Patrick's Day. But as always, make sure you like this thing, share it out, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for all your support. It's greatly appreciated. My name's Frank Rock. This is the House of Orange Sports Channel. As always, go Vols.